daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of Island Tea with your fave, Azem, who is walking up the steps currently, and myself, Jade. I will be his co-host for today. Adidas. Yeah, exercise there? Working on the summer body?
Actually, I think I don't see how you out here putting in the work. I coming last year.
I mean, fear.
I am not coming last. I tell
Fear
you
friend, fear. Don't study them. You look back, eh? What happened?
Morning.
Is that me or in your look?
I don't know.
Like a hurricane passing. Anyway. How are you, friend? You made it.
I did.
Just
Traffic
in the nick of time.
was crazy this morning, but
Oh, it's one of those days?
looks like we made it. But yeah, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Tamika.
Tamika first this morning.
Yes.
Okay.
How are you, dear? Hope you're having a blessed Thursday. We're almost to the weekend. You going tropics? I mean, Tamika, not you. I know you ain't going.
Yeah,
You're
overdoing it.
You don't participate in those type of behaviors. You don't do party style dancing, you know.
Party style dance. Jade, I've talked about my knees multiple.
That's why I said you don't.
But Jade,
I'm not judging.
speaking of knees, last night I come in on my steps. Like,
I'm laughing.
there's a gate at the bottom of my step. That's painted black. I don't know who made that decision. But my knee connected. And it's one of them iron gates with this style.
Yeah, ice it, huh?
Girl,
And they had to ice it.
it was only because of my particular brand of masculinity where I didn't just curl up into the fetal position on the floor and bawl.
You should have. I mean, sometimes we need to.
You need a good cry?
Yes, of course. What? You ever been so frustrated and you just cry and then all of a sudden rainbows and butterflies?
I was literally going into the apartment to do some work, you know.
I would have to go back.
I limped to my couch and that was it.
I was doing the same thing. Nothing worse than hitting certain body parts, you know. Your toe,
Oh, that there might be. That's definitely number one.
especially if you hit the little tiny
The,
bend on the
the
side.
little small toe and it just Oh my
Is that right?
gosh.
Is that right? Just wait off your rest of your day.
By rest of the day, the rest of the week, you just there. It's like you're traumatized.
Adult problems ain't to play with, you know.
Anytime you pass too close to an object, is bye.
PTSD.
Wow.
I don't want to buy. Something about being an adult is a scam.
I don't know who's selling this. Who's selling this to us here?
I used to, when I was a child, I used to be looking at the adults like, I cannot wait.
Okay, that wasn't really me, but I mean,
That was me. And now I'm like,
somehow I knew. So maybe what happened is my parents wasn't making it look the way that some adults are making it look.
neither mine, but
My parents were quite clear.
it is garbage up here.
Say, hey, enjoy it. Well, you can enjoy it, you know. Be a child. Because when you reach on this side of the fence, you're not going back here.
Nothing but spending money, pains. Like, you realize the older you get, the more things that you didn't realize exist start to hurt.
Yeah. As a
How
matter
does
of fact,
that work?
As a matter of fact, they tell me, oh, stay active. They got me hurting more. They got me.
The activities. The
Let's say
activities taking your life.
They say just leave here, eat a 13 and go sleep.
Listen, I can't even eat how I want no more. I tell you, this is a whole scam, you know.
Yeah.
As in, for 3 full days, I've been experiencing troubles, you know.
Yeah.
How does that work, bruh?
Jade, you want me to give you a joke now?
Uh-huh.
I was driving some night there, and you had left one of your bottles of water in the vehicle.
Uh-huh.
So the person I was driving with was like, oh, you don't drink that belly walker there?
That belly walker?
I said, no, somebody was in here, they left it in here. The man like, oh, good for them. I don't drink that there because they're just making sure the actual bottle in on the screen so they know, you know what brand we're talking about.
Because it can't be this one.
Jade,
You're crazy.
Several people
That's all business, you know.
refer to it as exactly that. Yeah.
Well, that don't happen for me. I know where I went
Jade,
wrong.
you realize you just tell me 3 days now?
Because I know where I went wrong as
Okay.
this has nothing to do with that, you know.
Okay.
This has to do with my poor life decisions.
Okay.
Knowing what I'm not supposed to eat and continuing to eat it anyway.
Continuing to eat it anyway.
So it is my fault.
It's like a friend of mine who had she had migraines, and whenever she ate gluten, it would come on like ridiculous. So what she would do, she'll call me. Generally, it would be somewhere around
You got me afraid to drink my water, bye.
around 5 o'clock, right? Around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, she'd call me and she'd be like, okay, you ain't gonna hear from me for maybe the next 12 hours or so. I said, oh, what happened? You buy bread on your way home now? She said, yes.
And most time for people, right? We don't remember these things.
Yeah, it changes. Yeah.
You just realize you're really a man, you know.
Really, I mean.
You're really a man, bye. We to come realize one time. You here? 5 minutes now.
I know. Terrible.
But yeah, you only remember that you're not supposed to eat it after you eat it. After it's too late. Maybe not for you, but for us.
That's how it goes?
Yeah, you literally don't remember that you shouldn't put this in your body because your body and it don't agree until it's too late.
I tell you, but I know people, like I said, they know what they ain't supposed to eat, but they just walk out, deal with the consequences after.
That don't mean my
That your thing is just that you're just busy living your life, and then it's like, oh no.
man supposed to eat this.
Wow.
Oh my God, it's too late now.
You know, the other thing about getting older that does really just annoy people?
Oh.
Development of allergies. Like how you develop an allergy when you're 38.
May I tell you my story? One time, when I first started my diet, you know,
Trust me, my female friends feel a way about you too. It's all love, babe. It's all love.
But yes, one time
I got to defend with you. I'm like, I'm gonna leave her.
I was going to say something, but you know what? Let me just not. Yeah, when I was on my weight loss journey, because as you know, I was way bigger than this, I decided, you know what? One thing I'm going to eat consistently is peanut butter and banana. You know what happened? I developed
A peanut allergy.
It wasn't a peanut allergy. But every time I eat peanut butter or banana, I just went sick. It wasn't an allergy. It was something else.
Oh, I
But
know.
boy, I said I eat banana and peanut butter all my life. No problems. No, my big age.
No, your big age. Yeah, it happen. It just happen. I know people who develop a peanut allergy
That
in
is
their
ridiculous.
in the big age.
Who
I
said
have,
so?
I have one friend, literally, he turned 40, and on his 40th birthday, he realized he had an allergy. Something he'd been eating all along. He turned, like, lit to the day. Bap! It is hit. He's like, wait, what going on here?
It just turned on the switch.
What's happening here?
I tell you, this is ridiculous as I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it, but I just not tired of it.
Intolerance is what Whitty's saying you're experiencing.
Yes. I don't understand it at all. But you know, adulting,
That's how it is, Jay. These are the things we have to do. By the way, you have any gears to grind?
I go in it.
Adulthood?
Yes.
Adulthood?
Adulthood is big yeah. Cause this is ghetto. This is so ghetto. Every
boy.
morning I wake up like, you're really an adult? Like, where would God do this? Where are you an adult?
So I driving down the road there a while ago.
Somebody cut you off?
No, not this morning.
Not this morning.
I driving down the road a while ago and I see a friend of mine walking along the side of the road. And I say, I wonder where he going by. Turn on my window and be like, hey, where you going? He said, around the corner. I said, jump in. So we there quiet. I said, bye. I ain't telling a lie, bye. It was hard getting up this morning. And I said, bye. I done take up the phone, dial my boss number to tell him not today.
And sometimes we have days like that. We just have days like that as in sometimes we wake up like, I really got to go. Like, I just need a personal day. I think personal days should be more of a thing. Because some, like...
How about personal days you get?
What name, sir?
Oh, sorry.
I say it should be a thing as in...
No, but it's a thing. Like,
Is
that's
that
what...
thing
That, wait a minute. Personal days, Jay.
Is that thing we are?
Most... Well, let me say most. But some institutions here, you give up to whatever amount of personal days a year.
Name 5.
Name 5 businesses. Well, all the banks.
Oh. So I should go work in a bank. Yeah, I don't remember personal days being a
The
thing.
insurance, like a lot of the bigger corporations for sure.
sure?
Yeah, they have personal days. You get like however much personal days.
I mean, I should have... I wonder if I had that over at Dilly Warren and I missed them by.
That's probably what was going on, you know. You probably had personal days at Dilly Walwyn and didn't even know.
What?
You just know about your vacation days. You didn't know your
That's a gay have to go in, eh? Why is vacation days 14 days for the average worker who work and
Say that again? Wait, what?
vacation days 14 days for the average worker?
So that's where Tim get from? 14 days!
Vacation, yes. I don't get it. 14 days for a whole work year? A work year? You know how much days in a
Okay.
work year minus the 5 holidays?
The only job I've had that was like what would be considered like regular job was teaching. So I've never had the whole like bureaucratic
Must be nice.
type of job. I've never had that, right?
Must be nice.
So it blows my mind, eh? It really does blow my
As in,
mind.
every time I think about it, like, yeah, really giving big grown adults 15 days off from all the working days in the year. 15? 14? 15, I guess, depending. That can't make sense.
Yeah, I just wonder about it. No, I'm not gonna lie. Like I hear my friends who go on the slave mill, and I just be like, yo, that is insane to me.
Not even a full month. A half a month out of 12, you know?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Oh,
2
yeah.
weeks out of 52.
How you gonna have by? Y'all can't be sleeping good at nights knowing this.
No, but
Somebody needs to fix it.
somebody said teachers get the most holidays. I suppose. The thing with teaching is if you have kids, then you have vacation the same time your kids, which makes it a little easier to plan and put things in place. It does get difficult when, parents have to go to work, the kids at home, That's when the children then basically just start terrorizing. The neighborhood, Jade. They stayed inside.
Oh, dear.
Summer vacations for me, like, well, in my house, like, I don't live necessarily, like, in a village.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're in. Because nobody walking a mile and a half to go play.
That sounds tragic, nigga.
Nobody walking a mile and a half to go play. By the time you reach down there, you're so vexed, you can't even enjoy the playing.
Tired.
By the time you reach down there, you just fight. It's all it is fight. They wonder, why this fella always fighting? Because I'm angry.
You're angry at the walk there, just had to endure.
But, I mean, yeah, it really does. It really for us was more Pop's giving us a list of things to do by the time he gets home from work.
Mm-hmm.
If he comes home from lunch, he'll do a check.
So how far the things going?
Yeah, 80% of the time, nobody's studying that there.
I hope you hear me now.
You know,
That's the bit. Oh,
it's just that no that done gone, that ship done sail. My father used to come with all kind of creative projects. Draw something, read something. The read something wasn't too bad because the read something is either that you're going to read it and it's going to be interesting. I didn't mind reading. But most of the times, to be quite honest, he tell you read something and it's like, you realize you only got to read a little, like 2 sentences out of every other paragraph to kind of catch the gist. And then...
So I may think that's what he mean, man.
No, but the other thing about it was, what ended up getting even more interesting about that was when I realized at a very young age, but wait there, he asking me what in the book, but he ain't read the book. I could tell him anything. He ain't read the book himself. I could. Once I read Jade, it was...
You just start to make up story.
It was cake. It was cake from there, Jade.
You really just start to make up story.
Jade, you just read the back cover, you're good to go. You read the back cover and you're good to go.
Wow.
Yeah, bigger pop sometime, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, giving us productive things.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That is woo.
Idleness, what did I say? Idleness is the devil's workshop. That's what they say.
And you was just idling, but
No. My father was trying to make sure that we didn't idle. That was the thing.
but you found a way to circumvent that.
The thing for us too is that for a long time in our childhood we didn't have cable.
Okay.
So yeah, it was play football.
You have to get creative.
I was living on a hill, the ball went roll along the hill.
Lord.
Yeah, it was rough, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of adulthood and childhood, my gear today has to do with the intersectionality of both of these things.
Okay.
AKA big children.
Wow. May know again with this.
People who just act like big children.
Bro.
And in this particular case, now bear in mind that there's several types of big children.
Uh-huh.
And I'm probably going to get to them in a series known as Stop Being a Big Channel. But today in episode 1, what we're going to talk about is them big, supposed to be big man. When I say big, I'm talking, young guys, in the early 20s.
Mm-hmm. Above 18.
Above 18, supposed to done with school, done working.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who does want to just show themselves in front of their friends?
You think it's because they don't know better yet?
Jade, I am not one of the people that'll be like, oh, he young.
Mm-hmm.
No, that I don't
You don't subscribe to that?
I don't subscribe to that, yo. Oh, he young, yeah. No. What I gotta do with anything? There's 14-year-olds in jail. Come on.
Facts.
No, I'm talking specifically about an experience I would have had, I would have witnessed at an event, right? And quick tangent here, promoters. Let me give you some tips here. Tip number 1, when you're planning out your event, right? It ain't nobody's fault. It ain't the police fault that you decide to hire every DJ and every band under the sun. So what you need to do is when you're structuring your thing, if you ask the police till 3 o'clock, or they give you till 3 o'clock, or 2 o'clock, or 1 o'clock, you put in certain contingencies so that as far as you're concerned, your permit is to 2:30, but your show finishing at 1:45. That way, if anything happens,
You're good.
you got a little extra play, boom,
Yeah.
boom, bam, etc., etc., etc. Don't go book down the last band starting 10 to 3, and then when the police lock off the dance 3 o'clock, everybody start to cuss. The band ain't get to play. One band ain't even get to strike up yet. The second to last band play for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes. 5 minutes, yes.
Stop doing that.
Please.
Stop it.
Because next thing you know, people can say, "Oh, it's police." No,
They'll be blaming the police. And my thing is, the police don't tell all you since literally 2 weeks ago they finishing 3 o'clock.
On the permit clearly states.
Hey, like to say the police come tonight and be like, yo, I'm feeling like a 3G.
Yeah, let me get my treat.
Yeah, really and truly, boss. I gotta get home. My child mother tell me, can't still tell you tonight. No, that ain't what going on. The police tell all you, 3 o'clock, run your shot card in. But anyway, so here we are at a situation where, of course, band's supposed to play. Band get 10 minutes because this is what has happened. And then police lock up the dance, as they should.
And yeah, time is time.
Time is time, that's the permit, okay, fine, no problem. And people still antsy.
Direct.
Now my thing is, you could go by the bar, relax a little bit. You could even just talk to your friends, make plans for tomorrow. Who knows? You know, maybe go out by the barbecue, man, spend a little money. No, but instead you decide to stay in the place and jump up as if for 5 minutes music playing with no music playing.
Yeah, that's strange behavior.
Yeah, but it does happen.
I know.
Now, the point I'm getting to about the big children, Jade. Sometimes people just don't know where to draw the line. You're there going on with your nonsense. Because really and truly, that's what it is. You're just being ignorant and stupid. But hey, all in the name of fun, right? Until it's no longer fun.
I've seen that.
And now you're stepping on somebody equipment over here. You're trying down somebody bar over here. This table done fall down over here because you and your friend them just running around behaving like total idiots. And then the first person to decide, yo, I can't behave. You and your ignorant big children friend them decide, I want gang the man.
You're a big children friend.
You and the other set of big children decide, you know what, y'all take offense to somebody being responsible and asking y'all to do the same.
Yep.
Ignorance. No, the reason I'm here is not, I'm just not complaining, you know. I'm hoping that this serves as a warning to all the big children out there. Because, let me tell you something. In that particular case, your big children antics might end up being a nice little conversation starter the next day when y'all on the block. It might be something fun for y'all to put in the group chat.
Of course.
But what people seem to forget is that when children misbehave, they get punished, they get spanked, they get licks. Y'all opening up yourself to situations that who knows where it might end up for no reason apart from the fact that you just want to be a big disgusting child. Let this serve as a warning because these situations could go totally different here. I see it all the time. Especially, and I'm speaking specifically to the young men. I'm speaking specifically to the young men. The young men that y'all bounce around in your little crews of 5 and 10 and 20, and it feels because y'all bouncing around in your little crew that y'all could just terrorize people. Law-abiding citizens, people running their business. Look now, they have person. I've seen situations where, a boat full, no space. Bah, we coming on the boat. Why am I the boat? Want to bang the captain of the boat because y'all want to get back to St. Kitts or y'all want to go up to Nevis. The man tell her you're coming back. The boat is full. I'm coming back. Steady argue with the captain of the boat here. The captain of the boat argue with the man who is responsible for everybody's lives on the boat. And because the man decide, instead of coming now on this trip, I'm going to come back for y'all You all want to literally get physical with the man because he's 6 are you, 10 are you, 8 are you. Now if the man throw one are you off the boat, is something else now. If somebody decide to discipline the big children, then what? Oh, he bad, he this. I don't want it to happen. I don't want to have a situation where somebody is big children behaving in their ignorant ways, and then what comes from that is harm to them. Sometimes you got to save children from themselves here. Not because they're 26 and 28. And don't get me wrong, eh? I'm speaking to a specific type of big child right now, but again, there's a lot of them running around, and we ain't got to talk about them. We ain't got to talk about them because I got some big man, 38, 40, 50, 60, big children too. Big children. And I keep saying, I just don't want to see a situation where somebody end up spanking these children. Or you see, you know, same thing I say. Somebody here making the point that that's exactly how the Christina happened. Everybody want go on the boat. But no, I see that for real. That's no. That I see, and I see it all the time. Somebody who is responsible, trying to do the responsible thing, but here is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 young people. And sometimes older people too, big children, who because of their own selfish desires decide to make an issue with the responsible behavior of the person who in charge. But here we go, we have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Good morning. You're hitting the right note. Small boys in big man body. And that's what they are. Small boys, a body of a big man. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right, caller. So it seems as though from the caller and the persons who are on the live that this seems to be something that a lot of people acknowledge is a issue. No, I don't expect everybody to act the same. I don't expect everybody to have the same. But there are some types of behavior that really just unbecoming for supposedly adults. I see it all the time. And sometimes people they blame it on liquor and alcohol. No. There's just some people who for some reason seem to have not grown, their behavior and the character has not matured along with their physical bodies. And they confuse, they make, sometimes they spoil things for everybody. It's too many times I'm seeing this happening. Especially now that people are back out, people are excited to be able to socialize and enjoy themselves. Actually, I just see sometimes, I have a thing that I just do. When I go to certain events, I like to go and stand up with the police, them linemen. Because I like to see what the police seeing. And sometimes you could tell they already identify who the big children are in the dance and or the event or whatever it is. And you just see how they drop their head because they know, okay, I'm going to have to have a conversation with this guy later. And I just like, you could tell there's just no excitement in what they know they have to go and do. Stop it. And again, this isn't me begging because I just like things to run smooth and people to have a good time. And no, this is literally a warning to you because my concern is that your behavior gonna cause you some harm, some detriment to yourself and your friends here. I believe that there are a lot of people right now sitting over the big wall, over in HMP, simply because they didn't listen to the responsible adult in the room or in the situation, They want to throw a tantrum, and tantrum turn into something that it shouldn't have been. And as a matter of fact, I could tell you that there's people, all of us have a story where we've seen how somebody, because they just decided to be ignorant and immature, end up in a situation that is like, that was so unnecessary. And I think that's the point that I'm getting to. A lot of the outcomes of these situations are just so unnecessary. Somebody could have lost their life, all because you felt that you wanted the band to play for another 10, 15 minutes. Police ain't do nothing wrong. The band ain't do nothing wrong. But instead of just being like, hey, I've been here since 8 o'clock. I had a great time up until now. Let me and my friends leave here and reminisce on the great day. No, you got to go and spoil the night for all kind of people. I don't know what to tell y'all. I really don't know what to tell y'all anymore. But like I said, children, when they act out, they get disciplined. Sometimes they get spanked. Sometimes they get a load of licks. And unfortunately, sometimes they end up with long-lasting consequences, whether it is physical scars, bruises, etc. Or in some cases, we've seen, like I said, people ending up over the big wall. And of course, we can't really excuse the reality of people as lose their life all because somebody just being ignorant and stupid. So to the big children out there, I'm hoping that this serves to bring about some change in your life, bring about some maturing, some growth, some evolution, some like, please, to all the big children out there, please. If any big children out there want to call in and have a conversation, please do so. Identify yourself as a big child and we could have a conversation. Jade has abandoned me, guys. But we're gonna continue. She going. Oh, by the way, anybody they have any gears that need to go in? For the next few minutes, I'll accept calls, and if you have any that you need to put on the live, then please feel free to do so. But we're actually gonna move into tea time. People sending me all kind of weird messages. Let's see what's going on here with the list of things for today. We actually have some guests coming in that I'm excited to talk to. I know Jade is going to want to talk about that particular one. So I would leave that until she gets back. But the first time I would have heard about this particular issue was yesterday at the press conference. But and it was very concerning to me. And we'll talk about it for a bit. The headline reads, and I'm reading from winmediaskn.com. The headline reads again, Cajola Cristada to close its doors in late 2022 after 28 years. Cajola Cristada Limited, a manufacturing company in St. Kitts and Nevis, will be closing its doors on November 5th, 2022 after 28 years of existence in the Federation. The Minister of Labour, Honourable Wendy Android Phipps, received notice in... What happened? Why watch me like that? What happened? Yes, so the Minister of Labour received notice in April of the closure. 147 employees will be out of work after the closure. The Minister of Labour would have been notified in early April to mid-April that saw no fault of this country. Okay, I think that is a typo there. But through no fault of this country, through no fault of the investment climate, the company's new owners would have taken the decision to close several facilities within the Caribbean Basin, and St. Kitts and Nevis facility was one of them. Other plans to be affected include Other plants to be affected include Mexico, said Senator Phipps during a cabinet press conference yesterday. The Labour Minister said the preliminary estimates have the severance payment for the workers in the range of EC 2.5 million. Okay, I have to talk about severance for some other places, and that's a whole other thing. Let's get to this one. The government will be setting aside by separate capitalization, of course, because when we would have passed the budget in December, we would not have foreseen or made provisions for closure of a plant. Cajolos Cristado also pledged that they would be making a gratuitous payment to workers. And this is not surprising because all through the 20 plus years that Cajola Cristado has operated in this country, they have tried and have succeeded in becoming one of the best employers in this and
Division?
and they have basically set the bar very high in terms of other private sector employers being able to follow. As a result of that, if you were to look at the data, you would recognize of the 147 workers, the majority of them have been with Cajola for more than 15 years.
That's nice.
The range of years of service goes from as little as 1 year to as long as 24 years. Wow. The new owner of the manufacturing company decided to operate plants closer to the source of their raw materials, which of course is China. Cajola Cristado Limited is a division of parent company, production products company Broadband. And of course, the manufacturing company was founded in 1998 as a subsidiary of PPC Broadband, incorporated in St. Kitts, producing numerous patented products created by PPC, including tear traps, AK cable assemblies, super traps, surface mount filters, MOCA filters, and aqua trim tight connectors. Now, of course, the question that people would have is what happens to the 147 workers.
Plus, this isn't the first factory that has closed down, so apparently there's a lot of people currently out of a job.
Yeah, a transition team including members of the trades and labor union, the labor commissioner, government bodies, non-governmental organizations, and the human resource manager for Cajola Cristado has been established to retrain and retool employees who would be out of work back in the workforce, to put workers who have been out of work back into the workforce as quickly as possible. Meetings with the employees of the companies and the series of exit interviews will commence shortly. The minister expressed sympathy to those 147 employees out of work, especially in the current global health and economic crisis. Ooh, not cool. But this is business. Like I'm hoping that the mechanisms that are in place to help an easy transition of these they're now employed still, employees, that they function as the way they should. But we are going to have to recognize that there is a definite shift in the climate, right? I don't believe that we have seen the last of some of these types of things. When you have shipping to the Caribbean from Jade, there has been times when I want to buy something, let's say from China, right? The thing could cost about $400. The shipping about $2,000. It is insane the amount of money it takes to ship things around the world right now. And because we have not yet made certain, we haven't put certain things in place, particularly to these islands, it's crazy. It's crazy to ship things. And so a lot of companies that are manufacturing based, I believe they have to be making some decisions now as to what do we do? What do we do?
Try that can be a serious question.
I don't
at your big age.
Don't tell me try as a big child. Let me see what I say.
So if WinFM closed down, what would people employed would do? Would you go look at work?
Maybe we just come here and stand outside the door and cry.
Sing Kumbaya. Like, what you expect us to do? if your job closes though, what do you do? Not look at another job? What do you mean?
Okay.
Sir. Ain't even 9 o'clock yet. I come here with these kind of questions. Please, go drink some tea.
No, but like again, I hope that the mechanisms in place to ease the transition of persons in this situation operate as they should. It is not the job of the government to employ everybody. However, it is the responsibility of the government to create an environment where enterprise can thrive and thus, create job opportunities for more and more people. The model that may have been working in the 80s and the 90s and even in the 2000s, I believe that we can't depend on that anymore. We can't just run around and give tax-free holidays to persons looking for cheap labor and low manufacturing costs and just in the name of like, hey, because my thing would be the hope is that some of these people now would have had specialized skills that we could repurpose for things, whether it is, and that was one of my issues with the close down of the sugar factory too. The sugar factory had everything. The sugar factory could have purify water. They had their own mechanics. They had their own engineers. And this thing is like, why we
close it down and just leave it.
So why anyway. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
Good morning to Jade.
Morning.
You guys are such a breath of fresh air in the morning. I got to tell you that. I left for a little while, went away, and I listened online. And thank you for what you do every morning for us.
Thank you so much for listening.
This situation is very interesting. And it leads me to question our leaders. What are they doing to prepare for situations like this? First and foremost, anybody who is in any job today that thinks they're going to have that job for a lifetime better wake up. Things are changing so fast that the train is going to go by you so quickly you wouldn't even know that it passed. So we better be prepared. But my question is, we've had a situation over here in Nevis where a call center has been shut down for years. My understanding is when that call center shut down, they left all the equipment there. Why have we not been able to seduce other call centers to come here? Because I'll tell you something. The people that own those type of businesses would love to come to a location where things are already in place. If the call center is there, the building is in place, the equipment is in place, and certainly 250 young people in Nevis were trained at some point. So you've got all your infrastructures. Who wouldn't want to? But the question is, we are so mired in this political BS, Lord help me this morning, Jesus, not to go there, that we are not paying attention to the needs of our people. We shove them $500 to vote, and that's all we do. When is this going to change? That place is closing down. Those people are well trained. They've been there for years. Who have been paying attention to bring in another similar business here in the meantime, or forget waiting until they close down. We should have had maybe another 5 or 6 businesses like that going on here so they can take up the slack. I mean, local business people here would love to be able to do that, but nobody's paying attention. We are mired in all this other crap that we are missing the point. And so all of these people now are going to be on the street with no jobs, and heaven help us if they haven't prepared themselves financially to have a little thing sitting in the bank where they can live for a couple of months at least off of. What is going to happen to them?
Right.
And that is what I see, where our leadership has failed us over time. And I'm not getting political. That's not my point. My point is we've failed our people. We got people here that are trained, ready to go. We got a lot of young people out there that are studying in universities and walking the plank right now with their degrees. What do they have to come back home to?
Tell me about it.
Yes, let me tell you
That's why they
something. It ain't that good out there either, you know.
Yeah.
I listened to you talking about the shipping. I left home with the intention to buy two items of things, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I thought were an excellent price and ship them. When the man quoted me the price to ship, I left them where they be. I said, no, I go back to the
Yep.
list.
I've been there.
It makes no sense. When you get finished, you think it's cheap out there, but do your math quickly. Look at what you're going to pay for shipping. Look at what you're going to pay for duty when it gets here. And it makes no sense. Buy it here.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We need companies here who are going to bring us this stuff. We don't have enough of that either.
Yeah.
So I'm just, you know,
yeah.
Our leadership needs to be thinking differently. And I keep listening to the discourse to hear somebody who's telling me something different than I've heard for the last how many years.
Right.
I keep listening for that, and I'm not hearing it. I mean, I can't go back to vote for the same crap that has been going on. It makes no sense. And whether they be people who've been in the position or the new ones coming in, if the new ones coming in ain't figure out yet that we don't want to hear that, then they need to just go back and go to sleep. Pull the pillow up over the head and go to sleep.
Right.
And they're not ready yet either.
Right.
Anyway, that's my rant for the morning. You guys have a great day.
All right, and welcome back. Welcome back. Glad you're safe.
Thank you.
All right.
I saw the king. I saw my king.
I know.
I know you get your reports all the time, huh?
Yeah, man.
I saw my king. He's doing well.
All right, lovely.
God bless him.
All
have
right.
a good day.
Take care. You too. But yeah, Jade, I think that there's a couple things for me, like a couple takeaways here. Like I said, one is we're gonna have to. Somebody's saying, but the government has no control if the company decides to close. Of course, they don't. So what happens now is that I believe that like I said, there are mechanisms in place to help people transition, right? Even more, and I think we need to bolster those mechanisms. So the minister spoke to retraining and retooling people. That is important. I believe one of the things that we should try and encourage even more is adult learning. I think that's a thing here that as much as there may be opportunities here and there, I think we need to really push that a bit more, especially because things are changing so fast. I remember I went to teach. When I was thinking about transitioning out of teaching, I'd made a decision to go into something that I was passionate about. I believe that because just how life set up for some people don't always have the opportunity to make those decisions so early. But when the opportunity presents itself, and you start saying, bye, I have to look into doing something else, it gets difficult for you to even at that point decide on taking that step and that plunge. Not just because is risky, but a lot of times because the opportunities or the pathway isn't clear. So where do I go and get this type of training? Where do I go and get this type of experience? Who do I talk to? Because I don't think that the majority of people, like you say, they lose their job, they sit down and put their hand on their head and ball model.
No, you might for like a good 5 minutes. Though, but
I think a lot of people, they start thinking, but okay, what am I going to do?
You have to
what is the pathway?
Responsibilities.
Right. So I think we really need to bolster, that pathway, that transition, where it's not only about, yes, of course, people are going to need some financial help as they transition, but also, like I said, they're going to need opportunities where they can retool and retrain, especially in areas where what they're passionate about, because to me that kind of gives the best chance for success for that person, right? If they're passionate about it and that kind of thing, whatever it is they get into next. The other thing is the types of businesses that we entice, right? We're going to have to be really strategic about that. I keep saying what I would love to see is businesses where, of course, we use our location and size and such an advantage. I believe the world has, because of globalization, because of technology, the benefits that companies can gain from doing that kind of dwindling. So if you look at things like technology companies, accounting companies, even like the call centers and so, for companies where they may have offices based on one side of the world, but in order for things to run 24/7, they're looking for somewhere on the other side of the world where when that company is ramping down, this one is ramping up. When this office is ramping down, that one is ramping up. So they have a continuous flow, right? We could look into some of those things, like I said, technology. The other thing too, I think we need to start figuring out how to help to build out more of our local startups into being some of these big multinational conglomerates. Like I think a lot of times we look at it and we say local business, and we think local business means small
business. No.
Like just the same way we saw, and that's one of the things that I look at, like a Rams and some of these other companies that have branched out and taken the business global, regional. Like, yeah, but we could do that as well with our consulting businesses. We could do that as well with our production companies. We could do that with our promoters. We need to find ways to build, to help to, for instance, I keep saying, and in production, so I can talk about it.
Yes.
Like, I work for companies all across the Caribbean. They go to different islands. They bang, 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 bang. Here, we bring in companies to do that. Why is it that we have companies that are around for 30 years and have not been able to build themselves to the point where we can do, could be comparable to some of these other regional companies?
Well, when you try to bring in equipment into this country, the prices are quite ridiculous. So that hinders a lot of people from being able to take their business from a small business to a large business.
Right. And so if I start talking about competing regionally, then we're going to have to figure out, well, what are the advantages that some of these other regional companies have, and how are we able to put things in place to address that. Now, the other thing is just the mindset. For instance, I'm listening to the cabinet members yesterday speak, and yes, they're putting a lot of things in place based on the present situation, subsidizing to help with the gas prices and such and such and such. My thing is, perhaps, yes, that could only be a short-term type of approach to these types of problems. Let us not fool ourselves. Like, prices and things, they ain't going backwards.
Nope.
They're not going to go backwards. As you look at it, they're going to always trend upwards. Now, if we recognize that there are certain things that are causing these upward trends, right? It can't be the government, in order to just seem like they're doing things for the people, absorbing the cost. Sorry to tell it, guys, but the government is using the people's money to help the people.
I mean, I feel like that's how most governments work, but
But that's what I'm saying. You understand? That's what I'm saying. So my thing would be, you have to look at long-term solutions that make things more efficient, that minimize wastage, right? And use technology to become more and more competitive. So we're here talking, for instance, about shipping, right? We recognize that is one of the things that is going to drive the price of goods in the Federation. Well, how are we going to be able to bring down the cost to ship things into the country? It can't just be the government taking off some of the tax. Or the government, like, we're going to have to find more creative ways, and I think the thing that levels the playing field is technology. So we have to find ways to incorporate technology in order to make these things. Or we're going to have to find ways to change. For instance, one of the reasons that shipping to the region is so expensive is because all the containers come down full of things and they go back up empty. So really and truly, what you're doing is paying the two-way trip, because guess what? We got to get paid for the gas where we take to go back up here.
Yep.
Now, if we were able to encourage not only sink it, but St. Martin, Anguilla, Sabre, Stacia,
All them places. Between here and the first destination.
To all these places around us to somehow build up the export markets. Whatever it is exporting, whether it is the coconut jewelry, whether it is whatever it is, whether it is agriculture,
whatever it is.
whether it is fabrics, whatever it is. If we could find ways to, I don't think we could do this on our own. That's the issue. We're gonna have to find ways where we could increase our exports. Use that as a bargaining chip with the shipping companies to help them bring down prices. You understand where I'm coming from? You can't just go to them and be like, "Bah, my people suffering. Bah, my people suffering." Like, please, you got to create something some leverage. You have to create some leverage. Create something that is mutually beneficial for these companies, right? So, I mean, the way we do business now is crazy. It's crazy. Like, why the government's running around paying for empty seats on planes? The airline ain't a marketing. Oh, you're supposed to market your country. Yes, we do.
Yes. However, you're supposed to market your flights and not charge people an arm and a leg and a toe to go on the plane.
Like, and that's what I'm saying, Jade. Like, we're gonna have to start finding ways to use our particular assets, use the economies of scale, bring prices down. We're gonna have to find strategic partnerships, things that are long term. I mean, imagine you're telling me you give somebody a lease on some land and a tax-free holiday for 99 years, but they could close down in 5. Or you give somebody, say, okay, well, we're going to give you a 5-year tax-free holiday, and then at the end of the 5 years, they just close down, change the name, and open back up again and get another 5 years. Like, these kind of archaic thinking can't work, no?
No, it has not been working. It has not been.
And I don't believe it's for lack of innovative thinkers. I think a lot of time the innovative thinkers get stifled, though. Let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Dr. Mojo, lovely discussion.
What's up, brother?
Timely. Here's the issue, right? I think that, and I'm obviously speaking from a personal bias, as an entrepreneur or a fledgling entrepreneur, when you start to see persons with groundbreaking, innovative ideas,
Yes, sir.
we're not asking for handouts, you know. But these decision makers know people globally who could help.
Yep.
You may know a journalist who all they can do is just put an article in Forbes or Times and speaking about these persons who are doing something that is groundbreaking in these countries. Or the whole CBI thing, like, hey guys, you want this passport? Okay, we have 5 entrepreneurs. I want you to invest in them.
Yes, sir.
They're in your field, they're in your area.
No, let's build another condo.
But like that ain't gonna break down.
Let's build another condo for people who don't look like us to go living and come here for 2 months out of the year, if you're lucky.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, there are ways that can jumpstart this whole push to diversify the economy and support the entrepreneurs who actually have hiring power.
Yep. And have incentive to stay here because, well, they're from here.
Right. I mean, it's not rocket science. Anyway, I hope with the new TV show that's coming on, which I throw my hat in the ring for, Let's Do This, that will be able to put us entrepreneurs in front of many more eyes, and hopefully persons can just decide to come and invest, because a lot of the things that's lacking, at least in my end, is lack of resources. And the fact that I have to run around like a headless chicken just to make ends meet, which means my creativity is going to be stifled. I just need opportunity, and I'm not the only one. There are many people who have great ideas who could benefit from that chance. When I have people on my show, I always ask the question, if money didn't matter, what would you be doing? If you didn't have to earn a living, what would you be doing? And people answer So it means that we have people with amazing ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just not doing them because they have these other quote-unquote obligations to meet.
Yep.
This economy will be and has to be diversified by taking into consideration these persons with groundbreaking, world-changing ideas. Wake it up.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Instead of stifling the innovators, we need to put them on a pedestal.
Yes. And it's not hard. That don't cost nothing. You know someone who knows someone. Hey, I got this guy. Check him. At least talk to him. At least hear him out.
Yep.
Doesn't take anything. Because I do that on this level. People who know people say, hey, we need, could you just talk to this guy? He likes IT. He's interested in going into it. Can you spend some time with him? He thinks you're amazing. That don't take nothing from me. What I'm saying, it can happen on that level if that's how they think.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Don't forget to tune in later. I'm going to have Congress and his wife on my show.
Oh, cool. Nice. Only good news later, guys.
Husband and wife. You don't want to miss this, huh?
All right.
All right, bye.
All right, bye, man.
Bruh, it's just so many ways things could be done differently, and it's like time and time again, we keep coming with ideas, we keep giving them blueprints, maps, GPS, everything, you know, the destination is right there.
A couple of things, Jade. One, and I want to get off of this like government and environment thing. But one, let's be honest, Jade. Part of the issue is we have this culture where it's not that people don't want to see people succeed, you know. But it is only if you are perceived as being successful when you are allowed access to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you are perceived as somebody who comes from a certain strata in society, then you're allowed access to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, moving laterally is fine. But once we start talking about persons improving their, especially financial status, so they move out of one income bracket into a next one, well, problems. And I use the example all the time. It's saying that people have an issue with success is who's successful. Janice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And give me another lady name.
Josephine.
Josephine on the landing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Josephine. You see Sandra over there?
Mm-hmm.
But she buy the little Suzuki Swift here, she bring it in from Japan.
Mm.
I wonder what she doing for that there. How she get that there? Josephine there. But Miss Janice, really and truly, but we, what she do to get the thing? But hey, more power to her. See, the man up in the big house up on the hill, Jeremy coming down in his brand new Lexus Jeep.
Shut him now.
Yeah, Janice. Girl, I like them Lexus Jeep there, you know. I like them Lexus Jeep, they're bad. You know, something about them. So wait, you ain't got a problem with the man. No, it's just that you want Sandra ain't supposed to got no chance. Because she ain't supposed to got. She remember look as if the thing 2002 come in on a boat. The woman have to get she boyfriend to come pour a whole new engine and anything. You know what the woman have to do?
Thank you.
Only 8? Throughout society, you know. So I'm saying if it happening and that, what's happening when you reach up in the political class?
Problems as him.
No. The person from that community there, no. Or the person father there, no. Or already?
No. Dying for that.
Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up?
Good morning, folks.
Morning.
The industrial area was one of those success story in the sense that it did achieve some measure of diversification of our economy. And it is really distressing to see them, the factories and businesses on the industrial estates close like this, okay? Because for the most part, they've been good corporate citizens, okay, and providing steady employment for a number of years. In the case of Cajola, I think it said it was 28 years. That sounds like it was way beyond the usual tax holidays that we gave these companies. Okay, so it's really heartbreaking to see them go. I think that the government dropped the ball in that they watched these factories close one after the other. Right? Cajola is just one in a string of them that closed without bringing in new alternatives or new investors. Okay, you know, they seem to have just sat on the laurels instead of bringing in new factories. I think too that government policy on these things, these closures, should have extended beyond providing the kinds of things like severance and so on, which they seem to concentrate on. Right? That, sure, you have to help the workers in the transition, but that transition should include making sure that whatever investments government do, they bring in new business so you have going concerns, because nothing can replace the dignity of a good paying job, good steady paying job. No handouts can replace that. Okay? And that is what they should have been concentrating on. The next thing they could have been doing is subsidize, put more effort into keeping these industries here, regardless of what the considerations were for their closure. Okay, the technical considerations and the economic considerations. Government could have provided some kind of subsidy from the other areas of the economy that are doing well, like the CBI, for instance. Use that to make sure that the workers retain the job, that it's profitable for the companies to keep on doing business here. Nothing is wrong with that. Okay? Because, like I said, we're after pretty much full employment. That is what we should be after. Okay? And another thing they could have been doing in that regard is concentrate on the energy, on making sure we have cheap energy, because that attracts industries. All right? We should have been much further ahead in our efforts to have geothermal energy. I don't know that solar plants would do it, because really and truly anybody can set up a solar plant, right? And I'm not sure that would be competitive as having an unlimited source of geothermal energy, all right? And the last thing I think they should have been doing is using our relationship with Taiwan. We are right under the belly of the United States. The United States is one of the big markets for Taiwan. They should have pivoted from agricultural support from Taiwan to bringing in investors in these kinds of industries that can then sell their products to North America, right? So we should have been pivoting from agriculture. We've been, the Taiwanese have been helping us in agriculture since independence. In my opinion, we have precious little to show for it, because they've trained us, they've put all kinds of inputs into it, but we're not, agriculture just doesn't seem to be attractive for us. So while we can't give up on it, I don't think based on the investments that have been put into it, we have had much return. But they're good, the Taiwanese are good at manufacturing as well. And so we should have pivoted to those kinds of things to maintain our manufacturing, because like I said, diversification was important. And if you notice, after hurricanes, after pandemics, one of the industries that proved to be resilient and bounced back, if in fact they ever suffered any measure of loss, was the manufacturing, very quick to bounce back. And so we should have kept that diversification. But it is what it is, I guess. I still maintain that government should have done more to keep these people here and attract replacements for them. Somebody mentioned the call center, for instance, right? But it is what it is, and I don't know. I suspect, and that is where good leadership comes in.
Well, hopefully,
right?
hopefully with your suggestions, they take some of those on board, and hopefully we'll see.
We're concentrating too much on politics, man. That's the thing. The leadership. These are the big ticket items that we expect the government people to be concentrating on, bringing in investment, securing people jobs, and those kind of things. Not giving them handouts, and that's an archaic way of doing things, right? I mean, but it's not happening. We're concentrating too much on politics, and as a result, this is what we get. Where people actually start losing their job, we start losing business. Time for some fresh ideas and fresh thinking. Okay then.
As in, we're concentrating too much on politics.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I'm forced to agree.
Listen, wholeheartedly too.
Let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up? Lost that one. But yeah. Oh, now the thing too. We talk about government. The first caller, I think the second caller actually. She mentioned that we have to be aware that, hey, you're working for somebody, even if you're working for yourself, there's no guarantee that what you're doing now is what you're going to be doing forever. It may be difficult, it may take some sacrifice, it may almost seem impossible, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. We have to save for a rainy day. A lot of us are out here, and of course, I know for most people, it's easier said than done.
Very much so.
Easier said than done. But we're going to have to find a way, because at the end of the day, whether you're saved or not, life will happen here.
Yeah, man. Emergencies will happen.
Yeah, life will happen.
Bro.
So, yeah, but we'll talk more about that after this caller. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up?
Good morning, Azim. Good morning, Jade.
Morning.
How are you doing?
We're good.
We're good.
Yeah. You know, we could talk as much as you want. You go to one and come to the next, eh? People know where the bread coming from, you know. Now, they matter with their factories and industries. These are corporate decisions. You know that, right? The aim of the investor is to make maximum profit. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, we're listening.
Oh, no, somebody coming. I'll call back because somebody calling me. I'll call back.
All right, thank you. Yeah, you gotta love the callers, man.
Bye.
You gotta love the Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up?
Hello, good morning. Greetings
Morning.
and love in the name of His Imperial Majesty and Value Last Friends. Rastafari. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Yeah, man.
We're doing great.
Okay, this is Ras Hygen speaking.
Oh, morning, Ras.
I am calling to enlighten the world and the Federation that I'm looking forward to contest the election on the premises of logistics. I will be running on a political passport, but on the premises of logistics, the ultimate law of all that governs the courts of God in heaven. No law can overwhelm the law of logistics that governs righteousness, truth, equality, and justice. Now, when it comes to investors, we are all intrigued with foreign investors, but mostly the foreign investors benefit the most. And when they're packed up and gone, we are wondering what is going to be happening to these people who is left without a job. So now, here we are. if I happen to be the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister of this federation, one of the bills that I will pass in our mandate, I would not say my mandate, our mandate, because I have other candidates that are intrigued with this mandate. Now, when it comes to foreign investors, the principle will be that foreign investors will have to sell at least 40% of their shares to locals because of the crisis, international crisis. The people, good, vibrant people is out of work and is home hungry, have used off all their bank's reserves, has no income. And, they are looking up like a young bird looking for a worm from their mother or father bird. So, what we will do, to confiscate all of this negative with people out of income, when these foreign investors come to our shores, once they have a lucrative business that represents a commodity, so that you will find out there will be market, there will be need for that commodity. Commodity is something that is needed basically every day. And that are the kind of investors we are to be looking for, that come in with commodities, lucrative commodities, so that when this business take off, is not if but or because, it will take off positively. And when they generate revenue from that business, our locals without income will benefit, because our banks will give them loans to purchase shares, because they know this is a win-win after you purchase these shares from a lucrative business with commodities to market. So, in the event of a closure of this business, we will lease the land to the foreign investors, that when they put down their business block or building, that building will belong to the federation after they pack up and go. And also, we will look forward to try to relocate that business into some other avenue, if it's not that same business, into some other business before closure. So we'll have security in terms of our people will be making money while these investors are making money and banking our revenue in other countries. No. If they want to bank what they make in other countries, we know 40% of what they make will come in the pockets of our people who are suffering. See? So that is one of the things that needs to be inculcated in the minds of our people when it comes to foreign investors who usually takes away our revenue and leave us undone. I'm not saying this is the case with Cajola, because to me Cajola was a decent company, and we must make provisions for other companies who are really pirates in the business of investment. They don't care about the locals. All they look at us as objects of servitude, to serve them and to build them. But we have to change that status quo. So we are looking forward to run this thing in a positive way, and we will connect with African investors. They are billionaires in Africa, have much more money than people in America and Europe. Right now, we are talking about the CBI, and Europe is contemplating or having discussions and putting sanctions on the CBI, because money that is being made, billions of dollars that is being generated in the Caribbean, it seems that is too good for us. We have to look at how Europe is dealing with us, how America is dealing with us. We all talk about we should go to European and American standards, but look how they are dealing with us. We are barely getting out of poverty by the CBI, and now they want to put sanctions on us. So now we have to re-sanction them. When they come with their business, you pay 40%. You sell 40% of your shares to our locals, that you cannot just take off and go when your business take up. When your business take up and start to generate good revenue, our locals will benefit. What do you think about that, my friend?
All right, man. That's Adrian?
Yes?
So you're saying this is something that you plan to bring to the people as an option?
Yes, that is one. I have 17 bills And among the 17 bills, there will be 10 actually businesses
Okay.
to derive from the 17 bills.
We'll be looking forward to
There will
hearing
be 10
more from you.
industries to derive from the 17 bills that are to depart from the ultimate mandate for the Afrocentric Redemption Movement Party that will be on board shortly.
What's the name of it? Sorry?
The Afrocentric Redemption Movement Party. Afrocentric. We are too Eurocentric and we are too servitude to the European curriculum and system. We have to build our own system and our own curriculum. We need to inculcate more history, the happenings of the past of our people. And we need to find our stance in Africa where we can also do investments in Africa between Africa and the Caribbean. He doesn't have to live in Africa immediately if he doesn't want to. But there's lots of business opportunities in Africa. Mining and all kind of different other kind of businesses to get into in Africa that could benefit our Caribbean region.
All right.
Because we have a stake in Africa as well.
Understood.
The region of Africa.
Understood. Appreciate your contribution, sir.
Yes, my brother, and I continue to listen and look forward to the feedback, the positive feedback from our federation, because we have to start to do things differently because it's never going to be as it was before. Thanks for listening, my friend.
All right, man. Take care. Appreciate it. I'm listening to some of his ideas. Some of them I agree. See, my thing to be this, Jade. Too many times we throw away people's ideas because we are able to poke holes in them, instead of maybe recognizing that this might just be a starting point that we could then fashion into something that is even better than where we started.
Room for improvement.
Yeah, because like I'm here, like for instance, I'm listening to him and my mind is going like, okay, that opens us up to some serious like liability there. I was telling you examples of places where like that particular type of thing kind of went wrong, but it doesn't mean that we can't massage it and come up with something. Yeah, y'all go watch YouTube. Oh, I'm gonna set that for the girl from sorry, but it's that yeah, but go on YouTube and watch any documentary on 1MDB.
1MDB by.
Yeah, but let's take one more call before we take a break. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up? Hello, caller.
Hi, morning, guys.
Morning.
Hi, morning. I'm sure everyone is aware of PayPal, right? PayPal, the digital wallet, right? PayPal started in 1998, I believe. Around the same time in St. Kitts, it was a software development company, doing something similar to PayPal. That is a digital wallet and actually a digital currency as well. This is nearly 25 years ago, a generation ago. PayPal is now generating $25 billion per year. So while FDI, foreign direct investment, is great in some regards, if we have a CBI program that is generating significant revenue, there isn't any reason why we can't utilize some of the funds from the CBI to spur innovation and development locally without needing foreign investment. Yes, everything is not going to succeed. But imagine you just get, let's say you support 100, and only 2 of them turn out to be a PayPal. That's $50 billion per year.
Yeah.
I would say that's a great return on your investment.
Yeah, not only that, the 98 of them that didn't fail, that don't mean they didn't learn.
Exactly. I keep saying that we have to build our infrastructure on a foundation of failure. It sounds weird, but we need more people failing and learning and not being afraid to try again to get the ecosystem developed to such a... that is how it is in Silicon Valley. These guys are not afraid to fail. And when they fail, they just go back up and do it again. But we're very, very fortunate. We have a source of funding that we don't need to go outside for. is right here in terms of whatever the billions or whatever generated, and that's something else. We need to know exactly what it is and how it is being put to use. And to me, it's not a far stretch to say, well, every year you have a call for ideas, etc. You invest some money, you have some support programs around it, and you see how far you could take them. But you only need a few of them to be really successful to pay for those that fail, and then continue the program and developing a culture and a mindset of not trying to do these things. So I think that is something we seriously need to look at.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. That's the point I've been making. We need to find ways to develop some of our local innovators, local entrepreneurs, and build. You don't have to come from this country or that country to build a multinational company. In other words, right? Why is it that the Apples, the Teslas, why those things happen in the US? Is it because the people somehow smarter than us?
Hell no.
Is it because they're just more creative and more innovative in their thinking? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. I do believe, though, like I said, it's not only just a matter that we don't have a lot of opportunities that are geared towards developing some of these ideas and these innovative thinkers. I believe we actually have a culture where we stifle them.
Yep.
We see them as threats. We see them as people who want to change the status quo.
Mm-hmm. Can't have that.
I made a statement last week and I said there are people that benefit from the dysfunction. And so they have a vested interest in ensuring that the dysfunction continues.
Easy so.
But anyway, we have another caller. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up? Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Yeah, greetings, Serena Ernest. I'm good.
Indeed.
At Bushy there, they had a little sip already.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What about you?
Yeah, me have want some lime leaf. Me desire a little lime leaf tea.
Okay, right. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, they got a new ministry, and me hear culture, me hear entrepreneurship I mentioned inside there. So let's just see if it be taken to that level that the virgin just talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And the done is righteous, so the money is righteous, have to be rich. As he rightly said, just to have the will to do these things, and you know what I mean?
Indeed.
All right, them two women on top of the veranda there. What is the name again?
Janice and Jacqueline? Josephine. Janice and Josephine.
Why not chat about the people there? Which one do the chatting?
It was Janice doing the chatting.
Okay. Concerning the next decision and the man with the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see what we seeing there, Don't blame her,
Mm-hmm.
The culprit is the culprit is the classism system, That is so embedded that it look like I don't know how long it's gonna take. It's something like sex and marriage. When we see the this and the that are go on in sexual life, sometimes we can't even blame the individuals, We have to blame the system. There's a system, whether it come from the church, both church and state. Which one is the accomplice, I don't know. But them say marriage before sex. You see me? We are in sex is marriage. So they put the cat in front of the horse and they confuse people. And the thing gone up there. The thing just gone now. They've taken sex, the sexual act, which is sacred from off of his, remove its crown, remove it from its pinnacle. Because it is marriage, When a man and a woman lay down and have sex, they are getting married, That's the only way to come. Sorry about that. When you look at a child, it's not. It's father and mother you're looking at, Two becomes one. That's marriage. That's the original marriage bond. So it's the same thing with the situation now with the chat and the bad mind and the this and the that. It is embedded with the lynch thing go on, you know. And as I say, the class system. Are we still online?
Right,
Yes.
yeah, man. We're listening, you, man.
The abominable class system, which is dictated by economics. That is the culprit. You have everything, you're up there. You have it till abundantly up there. You're just barely the middle class. Low class, masses hand to mouth.
Oh, we lost a caller there, but I understand what you're saying, Jade. Yeah, that's what I was alluding to, classism, and the fact that the truth about it is that a lot of times when we talk about these isms, we recognize that yes, there's a power dynamic involved, but at the same time, we just be the one. Sometimes the system is propped up by those who the system fighting against you and disadvantage you.
Indeed.
Sometimes them the same people who busy propping up the same system. But Jade, we're gonna have to take a break.
Indeed, we have some conversation to jump into.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes.
So lovely lady in the studio over there. So guys, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna be right back with some conversation right here on Island T. Stay locked, stay tuned, guys.
Feel the magic happening.
Campari.
Taste. Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. Hopefully, everybody is having a great morning. How could you not be when you're hanging out with us? Yeah.
Tomorrow is the holiday, Azim. Everybody's having a fantastic time. It's a long weekend.
Everybody having a fantastic time, guy. I got a 10%. That's what you think me. See why was going on earlier this week, no?
Who are you?
Okay, not us.
Not
us. But the rest of the people.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations. I'm jealous and I don't like any of you. But guys, as I said before we went to the break, we actually have a very special guest in studio with us today, Miss Kerry Dorr. She's here to talk to us about invasives. I want to believe she did just mention that there's aliens among us.
I said it before.
We have been saying it here on the show for quite some times, but I don't believe that.
I don't think that's the one.
I don't think the same ones. No, but good morning, Kerry. How are you doing?
Good morning. Very good, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I know that there has been a lot of talk about invasives and certain species, and just you guys have been doing a lot to educate us about that particular situation. But for the persons who aren't necessarily familiar with you and the work that you do, could you give an overview of one, who you represent, and of course, what is it that you do?
Sure. Yes, I'm the national coordinator of the Invasive Alien Species Initiative, which everybody loves to laugh about. So the reason we use the modifier alien is because you can have invasive species that are actually from, they're native to the ecosystem, but due to some sort of changes, usually human habitat modification, they can become invasive. So we say alien because we're focused on species that have become invasive that have come from elsewhere.
Oh,
so AKA alien.
Okay, like you're talking like Amphos Centurion or something? From like New Zealand, which one?
Yeah,
Okay.
So we've had a 4-year-long project going on. It's funded by the GEF, the Global Environment Facility. They have a small grants program here, so you see a lot of signs around. They have small grant initiatives. They also have larger projects, regional projects, and this is one of them. So St. Kitts and Nevis is one of 7 island countries that is participating in this. There's 3 core countries that have extra funding to actually assess the impacts of their most important negative impacts of the invasive species that are having the most negative impacts. That would be St. Kitts, Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda, and Barbados.
Okay.
But then you have Dominica, Grenada, St. Vincent, and St. Lucia, which are also participating. And really the idea is to just create awareness. That's why I'm here this morning, to talk about what invasive species are, what their negative impacts are, and to talk about ways they could be managed and, I think most importantly, prevented from entering. So we're working regionally to improve security at our borders. We've done security assessments at the airports and the seaports to see how well prepared we are to prevent other invasive species from coming in. Like the giant African snail is a huge problem on some islands nearby, but we don't have it yet. So what are we doing to make sure that we prevent those from coming in?
Well, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because you're talking about some of these species, and some of us may not actually be sure about what some of these species are. Could you mention some of them that we have already been dealing with here in the Federation?
For sure. So my communications team and I have gone out and spoken to a lot of persons, and then we also had work done by the UN Environment Program and CABI, the Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International. So Jeff funds the work, but those 2 organizations really oversee what we're doing and did a lot of the scoping work ahead of time. And so we've really communicated with persons in the country about what species are most problematic to them. And we've been on Freedom for 6 months in a row in the afternoon with EK, just highlighting different invasive species that are problematic for the Federation. So we started in December. We talked about wild tamarind. You know wild tamarind?
That's actually a species?
So that's a highly invasive species in St. Kitts and Nevis. You see it everywhere, right? Like the aquifer is just like a wild tamarind forest. The black seed pods.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like tamarind, the fruit, with the tiny little leaves, but it's a different species, and it spreads very rapidly and overtakes. And that's the thing that invasive species do, is that they spread so quickly that they overpower the important native species.
Okay, so this is something I need to get clarified. When we start talking about invasive species, we're not necessarily talking only about animals. We're also talking about... Oh, okay.
Plants, animals, insects. some would even consider some pathogens like bacteria and viruses as invasive
There's a few
species.
people here I want to put in that.
Yeah,
But we could
I
probably
mean,
talk
some
about that.
people would say persons are invasive when you're pushing into native forests and cutting down forests. Where it could be invasive. Bee bush is another one. It's actually called coral creeper. The pink flowers that just cover everything all around. You'll see them absolutely everywhere now that I'm pointing it out.
Wow.
Those are the main plants that we've highlighted. Then we have insect-wise, we have the fire ant. Everybody knows how bad that is.
Yeah.
The bont tick and the pink hibiscus mealybug. We had experts coming on and talk about the history of those insects and the problems that they've caused. The bont tick destroyed a lot of livestock.
Yeah.
You can see the dermatophilosis on their skin. They're
especially
almost
cattle.
like warts.
Yeah.
And then the pink hibiscus mealybug. Those two are not gone, but they're fairly well contained now. But they've had really devastating impacts on the economy and ecology here.
Yeah. I remember the mealybug. That was like the world coming to an end,
Yep.
It was a big thing during sugar too. We had some serious funding come in from the U.S. APHIS. I can't remember what it stands for, but they actually brought in what is it called? Where they bring in actually bugs that eat the mealybug, and that worked really well. Mm-hmm. So we were able to control that pretty well using that technique. And then animal-wise, we've highlighted black and brown rats and the mongoose. Wow. So the mongoose you see a lot because they're awake during the day, running across the road and everything. But black and brown rats are seriously everywhere. I'm a monkey expert, but I work with farmers because most of my research has been about the monkey's impact to agriculture. And the rats destroy a lot of produce as well. Wow, and then we did a study in the forest looking at nest predation. So we thought the monkeys for sure eat tons of eggs in the forest. So we did this really year-long study. We put real eggs in nests every 100 meters all along the Lyamiga Trail and the Nevis Peak Trail. Mm-hmm. And monkeys only destroyed 3 nests out of about 188, but the rats and mongoose destroyed over half of them.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are really having significant impacts to biodiversity here and probably our bird populations and any small animals like little lizards and things like that. Yeah. And we talked about the lionfish, which a lot of persons know about, is in terms of a marine invasive species. And marine-wise, we also have some seagrasses that are invasive that are really taking over and pushing out our important native seagrass. Okay. And then this month, we're talking about the monkey. So that's, I think, the main reason that I'm here is to talk about monkey stuff. And I could talk about the research we've been doing. But I really want to hear from people, too, about their thoughts about the monkey, the ways that the monkeys are impacting them. I'm very well versed in their impacts to farming, but I would still love to hear from farmers, but also people who deal with them in their backyards, backyard gardens, just people who want to get their fruit trees or any positive feelings about monkeys. I really am excited for persons to call in and tell us what they think about the monkey.
All right, guys. Well, you heard it. We are going to accept some calls to hear your thoughts on the monkey situation. No monkey business, but feel free to call in and join the conversation if you feel led to do so. But
and in the meantime, I could tell you about what we're doing to look at the monkey's impact too.
Well, yeah, I know one of the big things has been, since I've known myself, there has been this, let's say, this thought that there's more monkeys in St. Kitts than people. Mm-hmm. That has been a thing. As a matter of fact, I called a friend of mine who's coming here tomorrow, and he said, "Hey man, I'm coming to Monkeyland tomorrow, like he's coming from St. Thomas.
From another country, okay.
So, is there any truth to that? Has there been any data in your research that kind of lets us know exactly about how many monkeys we're dealing with on island?
That's a great question. So I started working on the monkey issue here in 2010. So it's been 12 years that I've been studying this.
What?
Yeah. I had a farmer on, it was Monday, who I've been working with for 12 years and documenting the crop losses that he's been experiencing and knowing the impacts to agriculture and the fact that the the government has always said that they want to control the monkey population. I was saying, well, before you go and do something like that, you really have to have a good idea of how many animals you're dealing with, right? Monkeys are a very sensitive animal to talk about when it comes to control. So you need to be informed with good data. So it's taken me, I submitted it for publication yesterday, actually.
Wow.
A paper that I've been working on for 8 years or so.
Wow.
Because it took multiple small grants, including grants from the Ministry of Agriculture. So thank you to them and Ross University, as well as the Christoph Harbor Foundation. We bought really fancy tracking devices and we put them on monkeys over 4 years because they're very expensive. We wanted to look at monkeys' behavior in village areas, in farming areas, in the forest, and on the Southeast Peninsula.
Right.
Because in St. Kitts, you would expect that in those areas, the monkeys might live in different group sizes,
Right.
and they may have different territories because they're very, very territorial. So that's what we did, and it took a while to get the data, but we were able to track monkeys, 2 groups in each of those habitats for 3 months to learn everywhere that they go, to get an idea of their territory size. And then we worked with the local trappers, mostly Sully Gordon and Joe Cabey from West Farm and Market Street, respectively, who are incredible and, been working with monkeys for 30 plus years, very knowledgeable about their behavior. So they helped us assess the group size. And basically we took like a very simple kind of statistical approach where it's like, okay, the village areas of St. Kitts take up about this much space. The monkey troops typically take up this much space, so there probably are about this many troops, and then each troop is approximately this large, and we did that in each of the habitats. And what we found is that the monkey population is between 22,000 and 37,000 monkeys in St. Kitts alone. So it's not as much as the human population, so I know people want it to be 60, 70,000. But what you have to understand is when you look at the data compared to other places where the monkeys live, if you look at their density, like the number of monkeys per square mile, we're looking at 323 to 544 monkeys per square mile.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's crazy. And it's also higher. It's good. It's on the higher end of where we see of monkey density around the world. So basically what we're dealing with here is one of the highest monkey densities in the world. And I think that's the most important thing to focus on.
Well, Monkeyland. We have a caller on the line. Right. Good morning. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Yes, Again.
Yes, man.
Yeah. The lady there, right?
Yeah, I hear.
She's here.
About controlling the monkey is to clean all the lands, go back to the mountain. Which part of the economy is, right? Again, I'm sure you could have looked at one time and see the jungle, and then you had pastures, and below the pastures used to be farmlands. Well, you ain't got a pasture now. The mountain come down, so the monkey come down with the mountain.
Okay.
That's really true.
Yes, so all you need to do is just clean it and go back to the mountain.
But there has to be enough food for them up there. I think that's what I've learned from talking to farmers for the most part, is that back in sugar time, there used to be like the provision ground farmers, and they would really take care of the fruit trees in the forest. And then a lot of hurricanes have destroyed those fruit trees. We need to, I do agree, they're good in there. We need to figure out ways we could push them back into the mountain, or at a minimum, the ones that are in there, keep them in there.
Right.
Yeah, I listen to the argument, but there was not so much fruit tree in the mountain, so much,
There's not so much?
No. The monkey them used to eat more chili and so at the time.
I didn't hear that.
Say that again, sir?
Eh?
Say the part again?
The monkey used to eat more chili heart and so at the time.
The monkey used to eat more.
Like vines and that kind of stuff?
Cheney bush.
Yeah,
okay.
the chili bush. Eat out the heart.
Mm-hmm. They still do that.
They eat out the heart. But what I'm telling you is that once we clean the chicken and clean, go back to the mountain will stay in the mountain.
Okay.
They are doing the mountain and we don't here do with it. But the mountain come down with the mountain because people's energy level get low.
Yeah, there's nobody going way, way up there anymore because, quite frankly, they don't have to, right? You used to have all the sugar cane covered by the estates, and so then you would have to go up high to farm whatever little thing you wanted. But now you don't have to do that, so you're going to farm closer to your house because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And so then he's right that the forest here is actually expanding, which is pretty unusual around the world. But that also means there's more bush and stuff for the monkeys to hide in and live in.
All right, caller. Appreciate
Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Well, I know for a lot of people who have to deal with certain issues when it comes to the monkeys, they may differ. So, what have been the main problems that you have found that these monkeys have been causing in St. Kitts?
Okay, so the IAS initiative came here and talked to people, and everybody said the monkeys are our biggest IAS, the monkeys are invasive alien species, the monkeys are our biggest invasive species. So they said, okay, we have this funding, we need to further document their impacts to agriculture, biodiversity, tourism, and households. That's what I was charged with doing over the last few years. So far, we really haven't been able to find any significant biodiversity impacts, which is not that they're not having them, but I think it's that they've been here for 300 plus years. So it's really hard to document. Just because I didn't find that they were eating the eggs I put out in the forest doesn't mean they're not eating eggs. I actually think they're eating eggs in the village for sure, in the trees, and also person's chicken eggs. I know that because I hear it. So they're definitely having impacts. It's just been very hard to document. You know, we expected to find that they ate a lot of more of those birds' eggs. And something I'm doing now is a study looking at whether they actually increase the spread of some of these invasive plants by eating them and pooping the seeds out elsewhere and basically fertilizing them. Right. So I have the pleasant task of taking seeds directly from, there's 5 plants that we're studying, taking the seeds straight from the plant and planting them. And then I'm also feeding them to captive monkeys at one of the monkey farms and taking the seeds out of the poop and planting them and actually looking to see if eating the seeds increases the germination rates of those plants. So if we do find that, I think that's important to know that the monkeys are actually contributing to the spread of some of these plants that are problematic for us. But tourism has been really hard to document because COVID impacted the study really bad. Right. That's one that people always bring in, like, oh, but the monkeys are good for tourism. And I understand that, but I think it's a bit ticklish, as they say, because there could be really significant costs. It's just kind of this, well, it could be a problem if they made us sick. It could be a problem, you know, if you have one of the monkey men, you know, bite one of the baby monkeys biting a tourist and somebody films it, or, you know, like there's a lot of potential really bad impacts, but we haven't really had any for now. It seems like tourists like to see them and things like that. So that one, I would say that we weren't able to really meet as much of the goals as we wanted. The main thing, to answer your question, is agriculture. You know, and everybody knows that, but it's important to have scientifically informed data, because when you're trying to get assistance from large funding agencies, or if you are doing something like a control program, you need to be able to back up your decision to do that with good data. So I, as I said, started 12 years ago studying farmers, and I picked a random 1/3 of farms in the country at that time, which was 65. And so I literally visited those farms every single month and documented all of their crop losses. And then I've been following up with the same 65 farms here 12 years later to look at what their impacts are, and working with economists to actually nail down an EC dollar amount of crop losses that we're experiencing from monkeys. And so I don't have that data yet because we're in the middle of analyzing it, but I can tell you that of the 65 farms that I studied, when I was doing the visits again in 2019 and 2020, 35 of those were under cultivation, and 75% of those had monkey damages. Wow. So if 3/4 of every farmer is dealing with problems from monkey, that's not even nailing down the EC amount that we're losing. It's just showing you how problematic it is. And then a lot of people have stopped farming because of the monkey. And I think that's really important to document as well, because it's not losses in the sense that it's a bitten watermelon. It's losses that's not even being attempted to grow because people are just fed up. Right. So we need to include that in our calculations. And then in Nevis, we did the same thing. We picked 1/3 of all the farms and gardens in Nevis and visited those over the last few years. And we visited 43 farms there, and 51%. Oh, I just cut out.
Oh, no, you're
good. There, I'm there. I stopped hearing it myself. And then 51% of those, so half the farms in Nevis, have experienced monkey damages. Oh, wow. So I think Nevis is slightly better off. Not that they're not dealing with the monkey issue, because they are, but they've been dealing with it for a lot longer, because they went out of sugar in like the 50s, and we only went out of sugar in 2005. So the farmers in Nevis have basically been dealing with them longer, and so they have more systems in place. A lot more persons in Nevis own their land, a lot more farmers own their land, so they'll put up an electric fence, for example. There's a lot more electric fences over there. Okay. So I think they're just a bit more organized in their monkey control efforts, just because they've been dealing with it for so much longer. But collectively, the monkeys are mashing up crops. I mean, that's just the fact.
Yeah, I think we could all agree on that. But good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Bless again, bless people. Yes. Thank you for smart for so many months.
So I'm sorry, but for some reason we're not really hearing you.
You said St. Kitts is small for so many monkeys? Is that what you said?
I can't tell you, to be
him.
honest. It was caller. I'm sorry, but your connection was really bad just now. If you could probably call back on a different line, we'd appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, you had another question, Jay?
Yes. So, what else has the government been doing? Has there been any partnership to try and fix this problem? Is this a problem that we actually can fix?
That's a good question. I think we need to do something systematic to test different strategies to say, okay, does this work? Does this not work? I mean, we can also just look at history. So when agriculture was the way that the country made money, sugarcane, there were systems in place to control the monkey. So there were rangers on every estate that would shoot any animals that were coming in and damaging the canes, right? And there was tons of activity. And then you also had the provision ground farmers that sort of served as like a barrier between the forest and the farmlands. So all of that has gone. And so, in my opinion, and what we're doing with all this data is we're writing a monkey management strategy. So we're working with world-renowned economists who have done invasive species management around the world, and we're putting together all this data into a strategy. That has to be done by the end of this calendar year. So by December, we're going to have to put all of this information into a cohesive document and actually look at the costs and benefits of different things that we can do. And we will be sharing that for sure, because the country... The main agencies that are overseeing the work locally are the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Agriculture. So they're keenly aware of what we're doing, and we will be sharing the information with them. And I really hope, and I'm very optimistic, that this data will be used to justify testing different strategies. And actually, what I would argue I think would work is, like we used to have estates that were focused on growing food. We should have a couple of agricultural zones around the island where we focus on growing food there. And in those places, we put a lot of energy into protecting the crops, right? Rather than having lots of little farms all over the place with guts all around and no other persons nearby. Those farmers are just sitting ducks for the monkeys. They're just really helpless. And I've been documenting that for a long time, and it's horrible to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm close with a few farmers, and the losses that they incur, like I said, they know the impact is there. Sometimes they don't have the capacity to put a dollar amount to it, but it definitely is significant. And
well, that's why we've taken this funding, and we've really done regular, routine, systematic visits to the farm so that we can try to get this quantitative EC dollar losses that the country is experiencing, because we know it's significant, but we can't just say, oh, the monkeys do a lot of damage and expect, agencies like, I'm hoping the Food and Agriculture Organization, something like that, will pay attention to the issues that the farmers here are facing and help.
Well, I mean, time is fast spent, so we're going to have to wrap up. But, just before we go, what can we look forward to out of the work that you're doing, and just hopefully figuring out a response to the monkey situation?
Yeah, well, keep an eye on the Department of Environment's Facebook page and Instagram page, because we shared there a lot of information about the invasive species that I highlighted at the beginning. So on those pages, there's all this information about how those species came here, what their impacts are, how they reproduce, what the problems are that they cause. We're writing a national invasive species strategy and action plan, so we actually have legislation that we're working to get through that's actually going to help us be more systematic in the way that we manage the IAS that we have and prevent further ones from coming in. I hope you'll expect to see better security at the airports and seaports when you're coming in. in terms of making sure that persons aren't bringing in seeds or any other bugs on fruits, for example, that could really have serious negative impacts for the island. And then, as I said, in terms of the monkeys, you can expect a systematic management strategy by the end of the year that I plan to share with certainly all the farmers that participated in the work and the government agencies that have overseen it. And then we can, at that point, take it and try to get some more funding to do something about the issue.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I just have one quick other question. On your list of invasive, of invasives, is the annoying geckos that keep me up at night?
Oh, the wood slaves.
The wood slaves. Please tell me that's on the list because I don't know where they come from.
I don't think that they're definitely not on my list, and I'll look it up. But I do think that they're a native species.
No. Watch. They had some. They had some that were here all the time, but
That's
they were
right.
quiet. And then their cousins came, and their cousins. Just
I'll tell you,
decided
when I first moved I lived in Keon when I first came back a second time. When I first moved into that house, I was so freaked out by that noise because it had tall ceilings.
What is
I
it?
did not know what it was. It sounds almost like a rat or something. It
don't know
sounds
what
like
it
a
sounds like.
I've
rodent.
never heard that sound in my life before.
Oh, it
before
is
this.
was
very
like-
loud to come out of such a small body.
It was like a hurricane came or something, and then all of a sudden they started making noise. I was like, "What's that?" I said, "No, it's your cousins."
I will say though, they're really cool. Where I live now in Keys, I watch. There's one that hangs out under my fluorescent light in the kitchen, and he eats all the bugs. He eats the flies. I watch them hunt, and it's incredible. So you
Yeah,
just
they
be
eat the
grateful
flies.
that the mosquitoes and all that stuff.
They ate the flies.
They're just noisy.
I
They're
don't know why
very
they're so,
noisy.
I don't know.
They keep me up at night too. If one gets in my room, it's horrible because you can't get it out. You don't know where it is, and it keeps you up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Bring back the quiet ones. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying.
I'll do my best.
But thank you so much again, and we look
Thank you
forward to
both.
hearing more about all the work that you're doing. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And we
welcome,
look forward to this bringing some solution to these issues that we've been having.
Awesome. And
Alright.
Carrie Dorr, if you look up online, I have my email address and stuff. If you have anything else you want to say after this, any thoughts that you want to share, please send me an email.
Yeah, we see some people who are trying to get in on the phone lines. Please reach out to Kerry and give her any thoughts, any information, insight that you may have. I'm sure that she'll appreciate it.
Yep. Awesome.
All right, guys, we're going to have to leave. We're going to have to go. We're going to have to disembark. Thank you, all you guys who logged on, whether it was on Facebook, whether it was on YouTube, with Media's SKN website, or any of the other digital platforms. We appreciate you big time, especially those of you who are on the live talking and keeping a park on the talk.
For y'all who keep screenshotting me and as in reactions, right? Stop it. Y'all gonna make us turn into stickers.
Yeah, somebody sent me as a sticker yesterday.
Wow.
I'm gonna show you. But yeah, guys, we appreciate you. Please remember to like, share. You're already commenting, but make sure you share it with your friends and bring them into the party. ILNT is all inclusive, and we have space for everyone. Guys, if you listen to us on your radio on 98.9, appreciate you big time. Turn it up loud if you're in a doctor's office. It's only going to make people feel better.
Yes.
If they listen to ILNT.
Some good tea in the morning.
All you need is tea in the morning. Your grandmother tell you,
From small.
So, guys, thank you so much for being a part of it. The callers, thank you so much. And, of course, Kerry, thank you for coming through this morning. But time is fast spent.
We'll be back tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow. So, guys, remember, learn from the losses of others. Watch here. The big children, them eyes, stop it. Behave yourself.
I had a big children story about I missed the segment. Anyway, next time. Next episode.
Next series, next episode of the series. But guys, please remember to spend more time living your content than posting it. And you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you